All right, so haven't accomplished that much. We'll start with, got the regular rotation water pump in here, tough stuff. This is nice and powder coated, a little black, it'll match. Got the tough stuff alternator mounted. Had to chase one of the studs here. Yeah, I was a little concerned about this. I changed the pulley on here. I was pretty gentle doing it, but if you look, I don't know if you can even see that. Kind of got a little bit of a, I think it's got a little bit of a wobble to it. I don't know if it's just this fan, this exterior fan, or you know, the pulley itself kind of moves a little bit too. I don't know. Guess we'll see. Got to get a belt for that. I'm just holding out on the water pump bolts. I just bought regular Ford water pump bolts rather than go to the hardware store for that. I did get a tank, one of the the old school Thunderbird Galaxy expansion tanks. I got to check this to make sure this is going to fit. And it's going to go past this deal here. It must. Other Cobra guys run these turnbuckle deals and that tank. I have one of those. Unfortunately, it came in a kit. I got to take it to a local radiator shop and have it brazed. That's kind of that was a little bit of a disappointment considering what I paid for it. That's another story. Let's see what else. Oh, I was getting ready to do the shocks in the back. I only had, for whatever reason, was missing the shock over on the passenger side here. I didn't really think about it. It's got these blue shocks, in the front, but it came with two brand new shock absorbers in the box. I mean, these are crappy made in Mexico renovators. I've never even heard of these before, but I go to put it on and it's that tall. And not even close. I'm like, well, great. Thanks for including those. And I can't figure out why one is missing, other than it must have been scavenged off of here for something else. But Mustang to the rescue. I have these taken off my Fox body that will fit perfectly. Hang on one second. Let's yell at the dog. George, stop eating grass. Stop it. You know those labs, they love to eat their grass and then promptly throw it up. So thankfully I did have one of these still had the mounting kit in it because what I had left from the KYB were these things were crumbling. They're not rubber, they're old polyurethane, and you know I could break that apart with my hands. So I'm not going to use this stuff. I'm going to reuse the mounts here. Like I said, one of the shocks did come with rubber mounts here. I'm going to use that. This is some of my stuff, which is nice. I'm going to paint all this black. I'm going to paint these shocks black. I'm going to paint these brackets black. Probably clean these up, paint those too. Paint the kicker shocks black. So away we go. Awesome. All right. So I got the rear shocks and those kickers painted. I just gave those a scuff, you know, with a 3M, a red Scotch-Brite pad here. And then I cleaned them pretty good with, I just used 409 multi-surface, believe it or not, and cleaned it super good, left it pretty tacky. This high-performance enamel, this Rust-Oleum stuff, it comes out great, high output tip. Like I said, 50% faster coverage. It really works great. It comes out, it flows nicely. It's supposed to dry in 15 minutes. I have just had really good luck with this stuff. And I mean, they're shocks, so it doesn't really matter. But, I mean, it really flowed out nice. These things are going to look fantastic. And, you know, just so you think this isn't Hack Job Incorporated here, these are nice KYB gas adjust shocks and kickers that I ran on my Mustang. I upgraded to, you know, Celine Spec Monroe stuff, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. So, and I had these in-house. They're going on the car. You know, they are going on that car, and I'm pretty happy about it. Awesome. First world problems. When it's pouring rain, all your tools are in your other garage, and you got to walk through the rain to get to your other garage. Yeah, first world problems. Anyway, so I'm working on the quad shock brackets here. I got them drilled out. I got them nicely labeled, right and left. And what I decided to do here, you'll see, so I could have made them symmetrical so they would have gone either way, although once you mount the actual Ford bracket to it, they become symmetrical again, and you know, you have to decide proprietary. I put this bolt high so that, let's go over to the car here, so you can access it. You know, one screw will go, bolt will go here through the frame, and you can get to that easy. The other one here, without dropping the tank, so I put the bolt, I'm going to put the bolt in up here higher so you can get it without dropping the tank. If should you ever need to service it, you could come in this way. You're probably still going to have to drop the tank anyway, but that way it's not going to, there's not a lot of room in here. See, my finger gets stuck in there. So, you know, you don't need it rattling around in there. You don't need to get on the tank and whatever when you're trying to tighten it. Got the painted shocks put in. So yeah, these are just getting some self-etching primer, and I'll flip them over, do the other side. These are just getting straight up black. Those are already nice and painted. This is nice. I didn't even notice this. Look at what Ford does. Right hand, front. Left hand, front. I'm glad I can see why I'm not a fabricator. Drilling these holes, and I think I did 3 steps. You know, WD-40, my rechargeable drill, of course, ran out. I went to the old school plug-in drill motor to drill those, and then I had to wire wheel all the mill scale off them so the paint would stick, and what a pain in the ass. And I remembered why I'm not a steel fabricator. So let's get these painted, hung up, whatever we're gonna do. I forgot to mention, those of you who are astute, notice the holes in here are quite big. I was gonna use 3/8 inch bolts, which I'm sure would have been fine, but Ford uses 1/2 inch to mount the quad shocks. So Ford uses it. It must take quite a bit of torque on them, and I plan on putting the power to this thing one day, you know, hopefully getting around, you know, 450 rear wheel horse one day, so might as well just overkill. Build overkill. Love it. All right. Sorry, it's not super exciting, you know, the kicker shocks, but they're finished. Here, you can see the mount I fabbed. It's the stock Ford mount here. I did end up going with 3/8 bolts. I drilled it. I think I did, you know, something small, like a 3/16. And I stepped right up to 3/8, and I was getting ready to do the 1/2 inch, and I was just like, God, it's just so big. It's so much. And this way, you know, I have a 1/2 inch hole drilled in the plate here, the bracket, and it gave me just a little bit of, you know, fudging room there. So a couple of spacers inside just to space this away so it doesn't touch the bracket itself. I can show you better on the other side. But you can see I've got clearance in here. It's not huge, but it's enough. And quite honestly, when the body was on, I thought that the rear wheels was kind of sunk in a little bit. I may end up running a small spacer, 1/4 inch, maybe a 3/8 inch spacer, just to step those out a little bit. So I got that done. I did pick up a sway bar. 44 inches was the length for the sway bar. That's just sitting in place. That's a future project. I kind of been doing suspension related projects first to get those out of the way. I'm gonna do front and rear sway bars. Front's gotta be kind of custom because it's a Mustang 2. We're gonna go behind the cross member because the steering rack and the radiator are definitely gonna be in the way here in the front. I think I'm gonna have to pick up a different, you know, one of these turnbuckles, because what I would like to do is, I can see I got the water pump pulley on there, finally got those bolts. What I'd like to do is I'd like to spin this down and so that it's down here and well out of the way, and use a short turnbuckle in here somewhere, you know, probably something in the, you know, like the 4-inch range or something. I'm gonna do something with the heater hoses here. I'm not gonna run heat in this car, so I don't know. I guess I'll have to do some research on how to cap that off. Do you just put a loop on it? Do you just cap each one? I really don't know. It'd be kind of cool. Someday I could use those hoses, you know, to an intercooler here in the front if I was going to, you know, supercharge this thing. one day. My HEI distributor will be in. I've got the DUI, the Davis Unified Ignition Distributor. I got the notification from Summit that that'll be here. Bunch of parts coming in as usual. Oh, let's show you. I got new valve covers. I've got the, I don't know if you can see these or not. These are all covered. They're Cobra powered by Ford, finned aluminum. They're natural. They're set up for fuel injection, so they're not vented. The other ones were set up for a carbureted setup. They're vented. I'll show you that after if I can remember to get over there. So here we go. You can see the spacers. I had to run a couple of shims here. That's just to keep, I don't know if you can see, there's not much gap, much daylight in there. Just to keep this off the bracket itself. It's got a bunch of spacers in this way. One of them is a true spacer. The other's a couple of really thick washers to kind of kick it towards the body so it's more out of the way of the wheel. Again, so this turned out very well. Now, so let's give a brief pause. All right, so I'm selling this as a kit. The valve covers, which I'm gonna need to touch up now. I was gonna, clean the black paint off of these. Now, where it's flaking off a little bit, I need to clean it off. These have never been on a running engine. They've just been sitting on this thing. I don't think it ever sat outside, but they're showing a little bit of wear and tear. This thing looks perfect. So I'm selling these as a kit. I'm just not gonna run this. And there's nothing wrong with this. It's cool looking, but a lot of guys run these on their Cobras. They're not accurate in the slightest. And quite honestly, this is the cheapest air cleaner that you can buy that says Cobra. Those are the cheapest valve covers that you can buy that say Cobra, so that's why a lot of guys run them. Just not my style. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Really nice looking stuff. And I would run that on a different car. I just want mine to be period correct. Got my seat covers from Pete's Garage. Check out Pete's Garage on YouTube. Basically gave me his entire upholstery kit. So I will have the proper stitched, ribbed, whatever you want to call it, pleated covers for my seats, and that is an upcoming project that I'm going to have to do. I enjoy the upholstery. I got hog ring pliers. I will do these all myself. I am going to go to a local upholstery shop, I think, and see if I can get some foam, some better foam, or maybe a little bit more to make them more comfortable. Right now, new seats, at around $1,000 for nice leather seats just aren't in the budget. So, and I have these. I'm gonna make these work. And interested in these junk perforated vinyl Cobra seat covers, I'll sell them to you for practically nothing, maybe even just about the cost of shipping. So, all right, I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna do next, but away we go. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up this latest installment. I don't even know what part it is. 3, I think. Picked up Fox body sway bar. It's pretty dirty and crusty, but I'm gonna clean it and paint it. These things sell for 50, 60 bucks on eBay, and shipping is pretty much a crusher since they're so big and they're heavy. A friend of mine gave me this one for free. Fox body guys, we stick together. Came with hardware, which I'm gonna soak in Evapo Rust, get that cleaned up, but scuffed up and painted, and we'll install that. Have the front sway bar installed. You can see it right there. Comes close to the harmonic balancer, probably clears by about 1/2 inch. And if you can see the mount over there, excuse me, I go under, with the pillow block mounted, I had to use a spacer even to step it down just a little bit more. It's because the frame is angled. In a normal car, the frame would be straight right there. But here, I want to show you this. Right here, you can see how it's close. It's close right there. Clears, but it's close. And then come to the other side, misses by a country mile. Finding stuff like this all the time. And on this side here, where I use the spacer, I had to use another, like a double thick washer, even stepped it down even more because there's even more of a gap on this side. I'm finding stuff like this out of square, you know, basically everywhere I go. So, you know, got the alternator problem figured out. Got mosquitoes buzzing around me, buzzing around my ears. That's awesome. This mount is designed to mount the alternator up here, like we talked about. I wanted it down low for clearance. I really didn't want to buy another bracket that came with this nice March setup, which is, you know, it's about $70. Another bracket, you know, kind of shaped like this to go down here with a smaller turnbuckle, you know, 110 bucks or so from Summit. There's a guy, Dr. Speed Doctor, I think, on Facebook, makes a really nice part. If this doesn't work out, I'm going to get his part, but I squeeze the turnbuckle in through here and it mounts to where I already had a big stud on this side, and it works out nice. You know, you can turn the turnbuckle, you can bring it up here, it'll touch this, get your belt on, turn your turnbuckle, swing it out to run it tight. So that'll work. That will work. And this is tight here. I got a lot of tight clearances because this is a stock crank pulley, and I didn't want to run an underdrive pulley. Everyone and their brother runs an underdrive pulley. Well, I don't want to underdrive my accessories. You're talking about a negligible gain in power, and you can run into overheating with the water pump. And I don't remember if you go bigger or smaller with the water pump or bigger or smaller with the alternator, but these are stock sizes and they're gonna run the way they're supposed to. Got my overflow tank coming very soon. My, whatever the hell that thing is, distributor is in, ready to be put in. Check this out. This is an original AC air filter. This one came off a Sunbeam Tiger, 1966 Sunbeam Tiger. Believe it or not, the guy wanted, they fabbed him up, my friend who owns a shop fabbed him up, you know, a more modern intake out of polished aluminum with a K&N filter. In my opinion, it was an abomination. It was one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. Great, nice fab, but underneath the hood of a Sunbeam Tiger, it looked like garbage. So this has been sitting around my friend's shop for years. Kind of joked back and forth a little bit, trying to get it from him, and he finally gave it to me because he knew that I would be the one person to appreciate it. He's a Chevy guy. I'm a Ford guy. He said, I'll give it to you. Just promise that you won't, don't eBay it. Don't sell it. And these things, you know, this is just a crappy air filter. I mean, just these two tins to the Sunbeam guys or the 289 and 260 Cobra guys sell for $750, $800. So that's going to hang on the wall. I just put it here for a funny ha-ha. Let's see, what else did we get done? The roll bar. I got the roll bar mounted. Now I had to have this bracket fabricated because mine was missing from the kit. Pete's Garage was supposed to send me his. He couldn't find his. The thing, it must be like your half-inch socket or your 10 mil socket. Must be one of those things that can hide in camouflage. But so a couple of friends of mine are pretty talented fabricators. I did another cardboard template. We fabbed that off. This is just for mock-up. I got to take it off, paint it with the chassis black, the Rust-Oleum high performance black. But I did get everything in there, got all the holes drilled, all the mounting holes here and here and here. Now, they call us a decorative roll bar, but the stock they use to make it is actually pretty nice and beefy. Mine's not going to be decorative. They want you to use 1 3/8" bolt on this mount here, and I drilled it out, and I'm going to use 1 1/2" bolt here. They want to use 1 3/8" bolt there. I'm going to use the 2 3/8" bolts that you see there. And this bracket, you see that we added this gusset here for strength. I mean, look at this. This has got a bunch of, this is gusset on either side here for strength. This thing is going to be strong, and it is going to protect me in case of a rollover. It's not going to fold over like it's made out of cardboard. So anyway, that's where the project stands. I'm going to clean this thing up, maybe get a coat of primer on it, etching primer, get some good 3M, SEM, ELF self-etching primer, get some of that on and call it a day. So anyway, my friends, as always, thank you for watching. Appreciate your support. Please give me a like. Please give me a subscribe. Please share my videos. I sincerely appreciate your support. Still trying to respond to every comment. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.